for today is Brynn Saito. Brynn Saito is the winner of the Benjamin Saltman Poetry Prize. First book, Palace of Contemplating Departure, was published by Red Hen Press. Brynn is a Kundiman Fellow, graduate of Sarah Lawrence, and has a book coming up in 2016, which I think is still in the process of being titled. And I mean, we almost have one, right? All right.
Book number 2.
Book number 2. That's the name of it. Coming in 2016. So please welcome up to the stage, Brynn Saito.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. This has got to be like the best event I've ever read at, because I got free food, so. I guess I'll start with like any good American, which I wasn't thinking about reading, but I feel like I have to read now, and mine is definitely not as good as your poem.
No.
But here it is. It's from the second book. Like any good American. Like any good American, I bathe my television in total attention. I give it my corneas, I give it my eardrums, I give it my longing. In return, I get pictures of girls fighting, and men flying, and women in big houses with tight faces blotting down tears with tiny knuckles. Sometimes my mother calls and I don't answer. Sometimes a siren sings past the window, dripping with the scent of human sweat, but what do I care? I've given my skin to the TV, I've given it my tastes. In return, it gives me so many different sounds to fill the silence, where the secrets of my life flash by like ad space for the coming season. Thanks. I'm going to read a couple new poems from the new book. This poem has food in it, and the food is whiskey. What'll it be? I guess I've been thinking about this like woman warrior figure, and she's been showing up in my poems and doing stuff. So this is some of what she does when she drinks whiskey. Woman warrior walks into a bar, sits down, says you're welcome, says hard rock, says so what? I know De La Soul is dead. Woman warrior orders whiskey sans ice, says wanna watch me drink it, says down it I will in 1 to 6 seconds with no one watching. From the forests crossing the rocks, above woman warrior's hometown, 1,600 men strapped with guns took the territory in 1 to 6 and rested on the 7th. She knew God liked rituals done in his stead, and so it was good. Tethered as always to moonlight, the high, kind woman warrior fled the burnt town, arrived in the metropolis, found love, lost it again. Now in the bar, bracing herself for the eye-full onslaught of broken lovers, woman warrior waits. Her head draped over her neck pouring down her back like a poised metal sword. A lot of my poems in the second book in it actually are sort of about bravery and brave women and surviving girlhood and surviving yourself and all that fun stuff. It's funny too. This is a poem, I guess, about a brave woman. It's a poem. It's a fresh poem. I wrote it for my mother, and it sort of, I guess, tries to imagine another world for her. It's called In the Other World. In the other world, you are young again. Your father has not gone to the bar tonight. You do not have to find him. You do not have to call around asking for him. You're a girl spark firefly making your rounds across the field at dusk, dark descending like a pool of fresh water in a foreign country. In summertime, you ease into your life. You ease into the person you were born to become, the shepherd on tour with the guest artists, the carefree candy collector, the cormorant downriver, dipping downstream. I see you in the other world, huddled over a candle with a small group of citizens, dreaming wildly, eating strawberries, sipping Lucky Strike. You pace the night streets, pledging your survival, singing, sweeping away the flyers after a long night of calling out. You called out for justice. You are fearless as a necklace, torn from the body and thrown to the wind. In the other world, history has not circumscribed your spirit. You're so close to freedom, you can taste it on the salt winds. Your spirit is a songstress occupying the sea. I should read a little poem at my dad's, just to even out the whole thing. So this is a short poem. I've never read this out loud. I don't know if it actually works being read out loud. I'll give it a try. It's called Poem Found Inside My Father, and the camp I refer to is Gila River in Arizona, where my grandparents were interned during the war and where they met each other, and my dad's parents. Poem Found Inside My Father. We lit the fire, Doug and I, beneath the boy in the tree, and laughed and ran, and my father, for which we were never. Camp made Dad unpredictable. Watchtower, wire, heart attack, 2 strokes. I could tell girls were different. Had 2 myself. They tiptoed around the garden. They weren't idiots. They were never... The girls learned to run later from different fires. I'll do like 2 more for y'all today. Speaking of girls, I have a poem called Dear Daughter that I wrote for my daughter, except for I don't have a daughter. I'm a poet and I make shit up, so if I can find it, then I'll read it to you. So, I guess it's like a letter to my unborn daughter. Daughter, one day you will find yourself on the sharpest edge of yourself, and if you're lucky, someone will answer the phone and say it's for you, and you'll come inside. The voice is an open refuge. Forgiveness is a tower of hands. Once when I was young, I walked through a clock, then under a bridge, and my whole life was lit by a Camel cigarette. I met a man who was not your father, but he played the jazz piano, so we fell into it and we let it rain. Of course, love is kind, but sometimes a person must pursue a plague that could do some justice to the storm within, you'll see. You will be thirsty too. You will stop believing in September. You will suddenly become aware of the fact of your heart only when a part of it goes missing. Well, don't believe what they tell you. No one likes change. One day you will find yourself resisting your own waking. Try tending to the sacred and see where that gets you. Try rolling through your life like a rusted train through a stockyard nation. Nothing fills a cup like moonlight, nothing. And no one will twist you like a man will twist you, but that's the deal, isn't it? That's how books get written. Well, don't believe what I've told you. Go convince yourself. Then burn the sage and claw your way through every oak on the rotting mountain. What should I close with, Jason? Palace one, or should I do the one about imminence?
Which one do you look?
The Palace one, or the one about President all things?
You know what we'll choose.
Yeah. All right, so I'll close with the Palace poem. It's the title poem of the book, and I guess a lot of the book is about departure and loving and leaving and being in my 20s and falling in and out of love and that kind of thing. So this is like sort of a triumphant breakup poem. Yes. Where is it? Okay. And thank you again for having me. Thank you to everyone who helped organize this amazing, amazing day, and to the other poets. It's an honor to read alongside you. The palace of contemplating departure. You wandered through my life like a backwards wish when I was ready for deliverance. I was ready for release, like a pinball in God's mouth, like charanga on Tuesdays, like the summer in Shanghai when we prayed for a rainstorm and bartered our shame, then we tore open oranges with 4 dirty thumbs. And the forecast said super, so we chartered a yacht. Then we planted a garden on the unbending prow, but the sea said surrender with its arms full of salt. And wind shook the seeds from our shirt coat pockets, so when we washed up on the shoreline of sunlight near the city of wind, we were broken and thin, like wraiths at a wake. But you tilted your head up and you told me I was wild. So I lifted my life and I lifted your life, and we wandered through the gate of radiant days. Then we married our splendor in the hall of bright rule. And I thank you again. You gave madness a chance, and you lassoed the morning. And we met on a Tuesday in a dance hall in Shanghai, and I left you in a leap year for the coveted shoreline, and you wept like a book when it's pulled from a well. But you were the one who told me I was wild, and you were the one who wrestled the angel, and I knew when I left you that courage was a choice and a memory, a spear, and the X of destination is etched on my iris and ships with the seasons. Don't think of the phoenix, think of the mountain. But where will I go now with my tireless wonder? And when will I again be brave?